Welcome back, this time for my 2021 NFL Conference Championships predictions. We are down to the NFL Final Four. Shout out to Andy Reid for saving the divisional round of the playoffs because the rest of those games were kind of boring. But with a Super Bowl trip on the line for these two games and four really good teams, I think we've got some good games in store. I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something different in the air. I don't know, let me know if you guys feel it too. But I do know that 2021 has already been pretty good to me. I went 4-0 last week. I've gone 2-0 in my upset picks. And in those two upset picks, I described the narrative for the way that I saw the game going down, and it went almost exactly the way I called it. So naturally, I'm sure that I'll get both of these games wrong this week because the universe likes to even itself out that way, right? But before we get into these picks, I wanted to share this for my regular season pick'em group. The overall winner of the group, Mr. Niner Gang, DM'd me a picture of what he used that $100 gift card for, and honestly, this is one of my favorite moments of the whole season because I just felt like it was so cool that we as a group were able to give this man who busted his butt all season long, making a ton of right picks, and we were able to get him his first ever NFL jersey. And I may not be a 49ers fan, but that jersey is hella clean. Once again, congrats Daniel on winning the group. You definitely earned it, but the Niners still suck. Let's move on. First up on Sunday afternoon, 3:05 p.m. Eastern time, we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Green Bay to play the Packers. And this quarterback matchup is kind of a dream come true, to be honest. Probably one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time against one of my favorite quarterbacks to hate on. The real ones know which is which. We didn't get enough of these matchups between these number 12 quarterbacks, but if this is the last one, at least it is with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. In the previous matchup of these two teams, the Packers came out and went up 10-0 quickly and looked like they were about to outclass the Bucs in Tampa Bay. Remember, this is when Aaron Rodgers tried to pull out the Key and Peele pump celebration, but the play was called back because the knee was down. Well, the Bucs offense hadn't been able to get anything going at that point. The Packers had a chance to go up 17-0, but all of a sudden, the Bucs defense put the clamps on. Aaron Rodgers threw a pick six while forcing it to Davante Adams. On the very next drive, Rodgers was looking for his favorite target once again, but this time Carlton Davis made a great play on the ball, and it was tipped, picked, and returned to the 2-yard line by Mike Edwards. After a short touchdown run by Ronald Jones, the Bucs offense started clicking, and their defense didn't let up, and before you knew it, it was 28-10 at halftime. In the second half, the Bucs defense did not let up, shutting out one of the top offenses in the league for the rest of the game for a final score of 38-10. Aaron Rodgers threw 2 interceptions in that game. For a little perspective, he only threw 5 all season long. But this game feels like it was ages ago because the Bucs defense wasn't really able to maintain their early season performances, especially as the Bucs offense steadily ramped up their production. And for the Packers, that was Davante Adams' first game back after missing a few weeks with an ankle injury, and that could have led to Aaron Rodgers trying to lean on his number 1 receiver even more than usual. But this game's going to be in Green Bay, Lambeau Field, the old frozen tundra. This is a place where nobody comes in and wins a playoff game, right? I mean, the list of opposing quarterbacks that have won playoff games in Lambeau is almost comical. You've got Michael Vick, you've got Colin Kaepernick, and then you've got Eli Manning twice. Imagine Tom Brady adding his name to that list after playing his entire career in the AFC. That is some real GOAT shit. Not like actual GOAT, you know what I mean. Honestly, I just hope that this is a Hall of Fame quarterback duel worthy of the hype because the one last week kind of fell short. Now, these two quarterbacks aren't as washed, at least not on the level of Drew Brees, but it's going to be cold out there. That's going to favor this Bucs run defense, and I think that they can make the Packers one-dimensional once again, and they've got the young, versatile pieces in the secondary that it could end up being a replay of the game that took place down in Tampa. And then don't forget Ndamukong Suh. He is familiar with this stadium and really familiar with Aaron Rodgers. This is one of his last chances to win a Super Bowl. I think he makes a game-changing play in this one, hopefully a legal one, and the Buccaneers win 21-20, making them the first team to ever host a Super Bowl. Now, if you want to hear some real bad preseason takes from me, but in an overall pretty entertaining video, check out the one I made about the curse of the Super Bowl host. And then after that, we have the Buffalo Bills traveling to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. This one kicks off at 6:40 p.m. Eastern time. And strangely enough, we have another rematch from week 6 where the Chiefs played in Buffalo. They went in with a concentrated focus on running the ball more than they traditionally do, leading to 245 rushing yards, while Patrick Mahomes only accounted for 225 passing yards. It was a very uncharacteristic day for the Chiefs offense, and Andy Reid for that matter, but I think it was indicative of Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy seeing a weakness in attacking it. And this is also before they even added Le'Veon Bell, by the way. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a $160 in that game though, and he might be back this week, but I think that the Bills defense is obviously fine. I mean, they just shut down the Ravens, who have been on a historic 2-year tear running the football. And Josh Allen didn't play very well in that game. The connection with Stephon Diggs has really flourished since then, and the Bills have as good a chance of any to take down the Chiefs. Now, if Patrick Mahomes can't play, the Chiefs are going to have to use a similar game plan and focus on running the ball, but come on, Mahomes is going to play play in this game. The latest reports were that he was a full participant in practice on Wednesday, but the team later revised that to limited because he's still supposed to be in concussion protocol, which would not allow him to be a full participant. So, you can read the tea leaves on that one. I have suggested that something catastrophic would have to happen to prevent the Chiefs from winning it all this year, and honestly, I am so thankful that we avoided that scenario. And as much as I love this sport, the brain injuries are a serious concern. So whenever you see a guy get up and wobble a little bit, it's a pretty scary scenario. Now, if you were looking to capitalize on Vegas with this Mahomes injury and bet on this one, then hopefully you got in when it was Bills -2. Otherwise, I'm afraid you may have missed your shot to really clean up, as it's now already Chiefs -3, which reminds me, the new site that I've been posting my picks this season on and showing you guys the graphic at the end called Tally Site. That's the one where they hold sports analysts accountable with a sports IQ number based on their predictions, and it shows you who all the internet experts are picking and their reasoning why. Well, the IQ score factors in your picks straight up, against the spread, and even how early on the picks were made. So if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, I'm going to get a nice boost for that pick, along with a lot of other people obviously, but mostly because it was done way before the season started. Anyways, they are now accepting memberships for anyone to join. A membership gets you unlimited access to all their betting analytics, early access to new and upcoming features like tracking picks, and access to a members only Slack or Discord community, and a bunch of other cool stuff. If you join before the Super Bowl, not only can you start off your sports IQ by picking the 3 most important NFL games of the year, but if you use my link in the description and in the pinned comment, you can get in with the early price of $10. By the way, your boy has an IQ of 77.9, and that's with me forgetting to make a ton of picks this year, like you guys know I do. But I digress. Check out Tally Site, and if you join, let me know in the comments so I can look you up. Back to Bills versus Chiefs. Almost every year there is a championship game that you could call the real Super Bowl, which pits the 2 best teams of the year against each other, and I think that this is that game. Now, I'm going with a lower score than most people are probably going to expect, because I know the coaches like to slow things down in these big games, and I've been overshooting a lot of the scores. But after that big balls move by Andy Reid last week, you don't want to waste that by being overly aggressive, and I think that the running game plan comes back a little bit in this one. Hopefully we still get a pretty entertaining game here, but in the end, I think that the Chiefs get back to the Super Bowl to take on Tom Brady and the Buccaneers with a final score of Bills 24, Chiefs 27. Before you leave, I've got a question to ask. I'm working on my new mock draft format, and I'm not going to copy one of my previous formats exactly the same way, but knowing which of the 2 previous ones you like the most and what you like about them will really help me while designing this 2021 edition. I've already got something in mind, but depending on which one of the previous 2 years you like more and what the consensus is will determine certain aspects of my format this year. So if you like the one with Kyler Murray here better, type in 2019 in the comments. You can add more detail about what you did or didn't like about it if you want, but just 2019 will help a lot. And then if you like the one with Tua, type 2020 in the comments. Once again, thank you guys so much for such a great season. This has been a lot of fun. Like I said at the beginning, I'm glad that there is something fresh and new in the air, and that we can move away from focusing on the old people running this country and focus more on the fun things in life like football, and my favorite part, mock draft season, which is quickly approaching. But good luck to you if your football team is playing this weekend, and no worries if your team loses, because all 4 of these teams have had really excellent seasons, especially given the circumstances. And the best thing is that they've all got at least 1 more year, if not much longer, of a Super Bowl window. And honestly, I'd rather lose a conference championship game than lose in the Super Bowl. That's going to do it for me. I will see you all in the next video.